How about that, Bucks Nation? 5-2 on the season. I don't even remember the last time we started a season out 5-2, but honestly, it feels amazing. 45-20 win over the Las Vegas Raiders. Your Tampa Bay Buccaneers came to play a West Coast trip, dominated on all aspects of the game. It was looking a little shaky up in the beginning of the game, but just like last week's game against the Packers, we turned it on and we completely dominated. But before I get into this reaction, if you are new here, make sure you click the subscribe button down below. I am Rami B. I do weekly Buccaneer reaction videos, but this game got me hyped, so let's really get into it and let's talk about this Buccaneers performance. Tom Brady was 33 for 45, 369 passing yards, 4 passing touchdowns, and 1 rushing touchdown. Brady is arguably, it's not even arguably, it's like cemented now. He is the greatest QB sneaker of all time. I still, to this day, have no idea how he sneaks the ball like that. Like, honestly, he just reads it at the line, knows exactly which crease to go into. But amazing performance, another 5 touchdown performance from him. The last one being a few weeks ago against the Chargers. And wonderful performance. I remember before the season started, a lot of people were saying he was washed up, old, 43 years old. He was the reason the Patriots sucked last year on offense, and now you see the Patriots are struggling. They benched Cam Newton. He had 9 completions in the entire 3.5 quarters. Like, obviously it wasn't Brady. And honestly, think about it. Do you think Belichick is happy that he doesn't have Brady? You know the Patriots and Pats Nation, all the fans that were so ungrateful the first 2 weeks when Cam was actually balling, and they were like, oh, Cam is much better than Brady. You don't think they're wishing that they have Brady back? But that's besides the point. Fun thing, I saw that Brady is now on pace for 41 touchdowns and 9 interceptions. He has 18 on the season. Just for perspective, Jameis has the record of 33 passing touchdowns in one season, and Brady in 7 games is more than halfway there. At this pace, yeah, he could potentially be an MVP candidate. Now, I know Russell Wilson is up there balling, Aaron Rodgers as well, but if the Bucks can somehow get into the 1st or 2nd seed and Brady continues playing at this pace, I could definitely see him being an MVP. But a cool fun stat I saw was in Brady's first 2 games against the Panthers and the Saints, he had 3 touchdowns and 3 interceptions, and a lot of people were saying it was a bad signing. People were saying we got rid of Jameis just to throw more picks with Brady and make mistakes, all that kind of stuff. But since then, the 5 games since week 2, he has thrown 15 touchdowns and 1 interception. And this is the production we were planning and expecting to get from Tom Brady when we signed him. Obviously, having Brady, we weren't going to throw 5,000 yards, which isn't the case, but he's still throwing a lot of yards. And it's much more efficient. I think we're still in goal-to-go situations. We've scored a touchdown in every one, or we scored something in every goal-to-go situation, or something like that. Or something like that. Every red zone possession, we've scored at least a touchdown or field goal. But every goal-to-go situation, we've scored a touchdown. Now 7 games in. So obviously the red zone has been a big emphasis on this team and has definitely shown off. Now let's get into the running game. Fournette, 11 rushes for 50 yards. Rojo 13 for 34 and 1 touchdown. Not an effective day from Rojo. Fournette was a little bit more effective, and glad to see that he's healthy. Now he's starting to get his legs back under him and starting to be productive. Receiving game. Scotty Miller 6 for 109 and 1 touchdown, including that beautiful breadbasket toss and catch right before the end of the first half. Brady launched that thing. I think it was like 38 yards. They used every single inch of the field. He caught it like right in the corner, got both legs in. It was a beautiful, probably one of the best throws I've seen Brady throw this entire season thus far. Godwin had 9 catches for 88 yards and 1 touchdown. Godwin's starting to get back into himself. His health is coming back, and he's starting to really be that productive player that we're used to seeing. Gronk, 5 for 62 and 1 touchdown. That first quarter was vintage Gronk. That great back shoulder throw, just snatched it. It was great coverage by the corner, but Gronk just snatched it right out of the corner's hands, and it wasn't even fair. That just shows you the eliteness of Gronk. Fournette had 6 catches for 47 yards, Evans 2 for 37, and then Tyler Johnson 2 for 4 with 1 touchdown. I know a lot of people online on Twitter were concerned about Evans only having really no targets at all till later in the game. And obviously I know Evans is a team player and isn't mad, but obviously, he still gets paid. He still wants to produce. Even if we are winning, he still wants to get his touches. I don't see it as an issue yet, but I keep hearing that, they're double teaming Evans nonstop. And if that's the case, at some point they're going to start rolling the coverage away from Evans, because they're seeing like we're doubling Evans and the Bucks are still averaging over 35 points a game with Evans being doubled. So, I mean, they can keep doing it and keep getting shredded, or they can start going and maybe shadowing, leaning to some of the coverage into Godwin, maybe Scotty Miller. Scotty Miller's been our most productive receiver, deep balls. They might start doubling Scotty, but then that's going to open up Mike Evans. So I'm not too worried about it. It's week 7. Evans is going to contribute. I still have confidence that he's going to get his 1,000 yards. And I know a lot of you are probably wondering what I got to say about the Antonio Brown signing. Before I get into the defensive stuff. So AB obviously has a really bad history that we know of. I think the signing potentially, if AB's actually changed and he's being held accountable, I could see it being very productive. I mean, Evans is double teamed. We're still dominating. Now, if you put AB in the mix, AB is going to take snaps probably from Scotty Miller, I would assume, because I don't see them taking Godwin off the field, or maybe AB is going to plug in all different spots since he knows how to play every single wide receiver position, so they might have him moving around. I don't know how they're going to use him, but if he stays level-headed and doesn't cause any locker room issues, I could see it being a great signing. Now, obviously, he has to come in with the expectation that he's not going to be targeted as much as he was in Pittsburgh, and he's not going to produce the same amount of stats. But I think with Brady there and Brady kind of leading the charge and telling everybody none of y'all are going to really have career years except Scotty Miller, but overall none of you guys are going to have career years, but you're probably going to have the highest number of wins you've ever had in Evans' career, Godwin's career, and y'all going to have a legitimate Super Bowl push. So I think when they come in and know hey, every week won't be my week. The ball's going to get distributed to whoever's open. I'm not going to force any double, passes into double teams or triple coverage. I'm going to give it to who's open. If you want the ball, get open, and I'm giving it to you. But regardless of what your stats look like, we're going to win. So hopefully it pays off. He'll be back week 9 against the Saints. He won't be able to start practicing till week 9 once his suspension is over and clears COVID protocol. But I could see him contributing against the Saints because that week 9 game now is really, really shaping up to be a really good one. The Saints are still a half game behind us. They obviously have the tiebreaker, but they haven't really looked like world beaters. They haven't really dominated anybody at all. Even against us, they didn't really dominate us. It was more of our mistakes hurting us. So I see week 9 being a big one. Sunday Night Football in Tampa, going to be a great one, and I could see us definitely embarrassing them on national TV. The way the offense is rolling, the way the defense is playing, home crowd, Sunday Night Football. I know the stadium is not full crowd, but it's going to be rocking in there, and they are going to put Breeze on his back, and it's going to be a fun one. But anyways, let me get to the defense. Derek Carr had 24 completions from 36 attempts, 284 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick. He didn't play a horrible game. He was kind of shredding us in the first half. That pick was off a tip. There was another one that was picked, but Shaq was offside, so it was negated. So technically 2 picks. The running game, non-existent. I don't know why they kept trying to run. Jalen Richards had 7 carries for 24 yards, and Josh Jacobs 10 for 17. Shut down the run game. Nelson Aguilar shredded us, 5 catches for 107 yards. And then Darren Waller had 6 for 50 as well. I think both of them had a touchdown. Nobody else had over 50. On our defensive side, now our defensive stats, Devin White had 3 sacks. One of them was Derek Carr was trying to rush and he yanked him with the one arm. One was a legitimate sack, and the other one was at the end of the game where he rocked him when he was trying to scramble as well. He had 9 solo tackles as well as 1 tackle for loss. Levante David, 7 solo tackles. None of our defensive backs had more than 1 pass defense as well. And I want to give a shout out to McClendon. I know he started his first game. He was traded after the Packers game, and he didn't really come into the facility for a couple days and all that kind of stuff, but he made his presence known. Good replacement for Vita Vea. He seems to be doing the part. He's a little bit older. I don't know if he can fully replace Vita Vea's skill set, but he's going to clog up the running game, him and Nacho and Sue. So definitely paid off. And he had four solo tackles, I think. He had 3 of them in the first quarter or whatever. But overall, solid performance by the Buccaneers. They balled their asses out in all aspects of the game, offense, defense as usual. It's starting to look like the Bucs team is a team that needs to warm up after a couple drives. The defense kind of got to get their footing. The first 2 drives when Derek Carr was shredding us, it was all right, Todd Bowles needed to see what they were doing and then adjust. I'm super grateful that Chucky did not get his revenge win against us. I know he came in probably pounding it into their heads this is my revenge game. I'm going to dominate him. But we beat him 45-20. Dominant performance. Brady looking impeccable as always. The man arguably probably still has 3 to 4 seasons left in him. I know a lot of people were saying, a lot of analysts were saying he should have retired a couple years ago. That Rams Super Bowl, 2 Super Bowls ago, where he didn't play that well in the Super Bowl. That was it. That was the end of it. And then last year, but it's give him weapons and he's going to dominate. He's having fun. He's running out there after the players when they score. He looks like he's enjoying football again. And I'm sure he doesn't mind. He's going to obviously admit that it didn't play a role, but he's definitely looking at the Patriots record and how they're struggling. And I think he believes he made the right decision by coming to Tampa. And I also think he knows, I think in his press conference after, he said he's really grateful that Bruce has been patient with him with the offense. So you can see he's really grasping the offense and putting in that work. I mean, We had the one pick by Antoine Winfield, which was great pick on his end, his first one of his career, hopefully many, many more. And we turned that into a touchdown. So really, we scored 38 points just generated on ourselves, not off turnovers. So wonderful performance by the Bucs. Super exciting. Next week, we got the New York Giants Monday Night Football. I don't expect them to do much against us. They don't have Barkley. They obviously can't run the ball against us. Danny Dimes he looks like he's all right. He still has a lot of turnovers. I think he's led the league since he's come in the most turnovers. So that's definitely an opportunity for us to feast under the bright lights as well. And I think we can dominate that and start off the first half of the season with a 6-2 record. So yeah, Buck Nation, comment down below what was the most exciting part of this win. And thank you for tuning in. Great performance by the Bucs. And as always, let's go Bucs Nation. Let's keep stacking up them W's and let's get into that first seed position and definitely lock up the division. But I gotta go. So as always, I am out.
Our offense tough, our defense rough. Go Bucs, go Bucs. Ain't no other team stopping us. Go Bucs, go Bucs.